But right now, I want to start the ball rolling with, of course, let's talk about SEO first. So the core of today's matter is also still SEO, and we're going to see how content marketing is, increasingly finding its weightage, towards SEO. So maybe Eugene, you can share with us, what do you think of content marketing's role right now in SEO as a strategy?
Well, I think definitely content marketing has a lot of weightage because after all, a website that people look at, no matter how good your SEO is, if your content you are not writing for the human, people just close off the browser, right? That's for sure. But in order to understand content marketing and why content marketing is important in its totality, let me perhaps paint you and take you back memory lane. And we're talking about 1994, back in the 90s when we were all younger, right? 1994, Yahoo was born. 1998, 4 years later, Google was born. Have you ever wondered why Google was the number one search engine in the world today? Except China, of course, because they block everything, right? And why Google was able to dominate Yahoo? Because people found Google a more relevant search engine the moment Google is launched, right? That means Google was able to pull out more relevant first page listing of websites when compared to Yahoo. And this has very much got to do with content, right? And how does Google, able to win the game? Google, does it in two ways. Google buy tech companies and Google roll out algorithms, right? The tech companies that Google bought are basically YouTube, Picasa, which now forms the basis of Google Photos that we have today. The mapping company called WAZE, which formed the basis of the Google Maps that we have today. And of course, Urchin Software, which forms the Google Analytics that we have today, right? Now, Google roll out all these algorithms, Panda, Penguin, Pigeon, Hummingbird, and RankBrain, right? We will not cover all of this because that will be a lesson by itself. But basically, Google roll out all these things because people were trying to cheat the search engine. People were trying to just cram content, cram keywords that the content doesn't make sense, but it rank, right? So that is why through all of this, Google was able to dominate its position over Yahoo and became a relevant search engine because Google focused on ranking and basically websites that with relevant content, they get ranked on Google page one, right? Yeah.
Okay. So I think what I got from Eugene's sharing is basically Google is number one right now. If you look at their strategy of the companies they are buying over, they are actually buying over companies of various types of content that people need in search. Whereas maybe Yahoo was still stuck on like just text text search. Yeah, so Google was actually taking in all kinds of content, and instead of course developing everything from scratch themselves, they just buy a ready company. Yeah, and that actually powers up their search engine more and more because you give people a variety of what they might need when they search for something and it's relevant to their needs. I think the intention behind is really to better fit people's needs as fast as they can.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's what I feel as a marketer slash consumer, because I don't think I'm a pure consumer anymore. We are all unpure. If you're a marketer, you're not a pure consumer anymore, right? Yeah. So I think that, and of course that's why I think that's the strategy for any business. If you put your customers' needs at the core, right? Yeah, that's a sure win. It's the rest are just how to reach their needs faster.
So we all recall, right, back when the time when we were younger in the 90s, when Google just rolled out, what I did was I compare, this Yahoo and Google. Then I realized after many searches, right, Google actually returned, more relevant. So I kind of ditched Yahoo, and that's exactly what a lot of people are doing, right?
Yeah.